This episode is brought to you by Novilla Mattresses. When it comes to your mother, you want her sleeping in a comfortable bed. When she's with me, she won't have to worry about that because I sleep on a Novilla mattress. Let me tell you, when your mom is at my place, she is sleeping on a very comfortable mattress and she is going to get you one as well. Meet their Bliss Organic Memory Foam Mattress. Perfect for those who want a cool, dry, undisturbed sleep throughout the night, made with organic bamboo charcoal fiber, excellent motion isolation, cooling gel-infused memory foam that fits all bed frames and is reasonably priced. Perfect for if you want an inexpensive mattress for you, your children, or even for your guest room. It comes in a box delivered right to your door, and you get 100 nights to try it out. Skip that trip to the big box mattress store and get a mattress from Novilla. Throw out that cheap Walmart mattress you got in college and get yourself a mattress made by Novilla. Using promo code Schweezy or the link in our description, you can save 10% on any purchase through Novilla directly. Try out the mattress that your mom tried out last night. Again, that's 10% off using promo code Schweezy. And a reminder, when you use our links, you directly support this show. Hello, and what is going on, my fellow Schwoke Lords? What is up? Welcome to yet another episode of Cancel Schweezy, better known as the Lord's trademark favorite podcast. What is up? Welcome to the show today. Better than it just being any other episode of Cancel Schweezy, this is the only podcast celebrating the birth of Schwoke. That's right. My birthday was August 14th, and I'm recording this on August 15th, and this comes out August 17th. So this is my birthday. It's my birthday episode. So very exciting stuff here. I am wearing the gold jacket for those watching, and I can already tell this might be coming off because it is so fucking hot right now. I'm sweating like a black man.
Man proposes and God disposes.
Something like that. The Lord's trademark favorite podcast today, and the birth episode. We should have our banner up that says, "This is your birthday," because this is my birthday. Welcome to the show, folks. It's a great episode. If you want to do me some birthday gifts, go check out my music under Schweezy. I do have a release coming up in May. I don't have it coming up in May.
That's my hole. That's where it spits.
Coming up in May, meaning coming up later this year. I think everything's still somewhat secretive, but it should come out in November. Should be Christmas themed.
Come on, Mark. Don't be stingy.
So I better go check that out. Better go follow me on wherever you are streaming your music these days. Spotify, Apple Music, Tidal, Deezer, D's Nuts. Got him. Or wherever you're getting your podcast these days. You should go check that out. Go check out my stuff. That way you get notified when I ever do stuff. Also get notified on podcasts and everything else on the TheSchweezy on every social media site. That's a great way to say thank you for being a friend. And if you're watching me, doesn't it look like I think I just have weird shoulders where I'm like when I'm sitting down and like they have like shoulder pads and suit jackets. I'm just like I'm the penguin. Am I turtly enough for the turtle club? If you don't get that reference, you're not too young to listen to this podcast. You're too young to date me. So sorry for all those ladies out there. I know it sucks. I know. So
I identify as a fucking threat.
That's not what I meant to say. Okay. Anyways, let's go check out those everywhere. Another social media website is Twitch, twitch.tv/TheSchweezy. Every Thursday I do stream something. I think I'm going to try and finish up, or I've been trying to grind away, not do any story stuff in Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu. I've been doing that a lot. Figuring out other games to play. I don't know. It's weird. I like playing Pokemon games, and like when those release, I'm just like, we're going to be doing this a lot. And then like other times it's like Fortnite, Fall Guys, other shit. That's cool though. You can go check me out there. If you have an Amazon Prime account, connect it to your Twitch account. You get Twitch Prime. Subscribing to someone on Twitch usually costs around $5. Following anyone's free, so don't be stingy there.
Come on, Mark. Don't be stingy.
But actually subscribing to someone's usually a financial way of supporting someone over on Twitch. But with Amazon Prime, you get one free subscribe a month, and why not help out Daddy Schweezy? So go check me out there. It's a great way to help. Patreon page. Patreon is a great way to say thank you for being a friend. That's our tip jar, as we like to call it these days. tip me, tip jar. Call it your tip jar. You can call it your circumcision jar because it's just tips. And stuff like that. So that's cool. Go check us out there. Like I said, it's always a great way to say thank you for being a friend. And you know what? There's a bunch of free shit you can always do to help out the show. Yeah. Go check out our YouTube page if you're listening to the show, or you're probably maybe watching us right now. You probably check that out as well. Basically, what you can go ahead and do, we're trying to infiltrate algorithms over on YouTube. And so, even though I know some of you, you drive and stuff like that, I'm like, don't pull up the YouTube advertising. Just listen to whatever you listen to a podcast at. But if you're on, if you go check the videos, like I know a lot of times I can subscribe over there, because what we always go ahead and do is with every episode, I always try and go ahead and post highlights from every episode. And that way, if you want to share something with your friend, which you should, if you want to help support the show, you should share the highlights with your friends, because basically what you can do with the highlights, basically instead of showing someone and like, hey, go to this timestamp in this podcast episode, just watch the highlight. It's very simple. We cut it down. We make it crisp, pristine, awesome.
And I really like that.
And, we make it good. Obviously, if you're on an audio-only platform, make sure you leave us a review and give us a 5, 4, 3, 2, or 1 star rating. So, like that. I really like that.
I like that.
So, go check that out and be cool. Be cool to your school. Be a cool guy. And don't be stingy.
Come on, Mark. Don't be stingy.
All right. With all that being said, let's hop right into previous week right now. What is previous week right now, you may be asking? Well, we're going to be going over the previous week right now. Basically what previous week right now is just the news of the previous week that we're going over. You had a week, I had a week. Things happened in that week. Things happened to other people in that week. Some things happened to you, but some things happened to other people. We're going to talk about other people we don't know, because it's much better to think about other people's problems than our own problems. So without further ado, let's just jump right into it. Straight from the Nashville scene. I would say our friends over the Nashville scene, but I'm not, because they're actually people I could meet, and I'm like, I could be your friend. But anyways, I'm just going to read an article they wrote. Police substation slated for Garth Brooks building. Uh-oh.
And I really like that.
Let's read here what's going on here with convicted serial killer. Not convicted serial killer Garth Brooks. Mayor John Cooper announced Monday that Metro will partner with Garth Brooks to operate a police substation at the country music star's Lower Broadway building. The move comes after Brooks paid $47.9 million for the structure, with an address of 411 Broadway in December 2021. The singer is planning a bar and restaurant, details for which have not been disclosed. The release notes Brooks is covering the cost to get the substation operational with build out and will require no lease. To focus on traffic and safety concerns, the substation will add critical resources to keep the 4-block segment of Broadway from 1st to 5th Avenue secure. The release notes an opening date for the substation will be dictated by the schedule to modify the existing building. As part of the agreement, which is subject to Metro Council approval, Metro will authorize condemnation of an alley adjacent to 411 Broadway. Metro authorizes such moves approximately between 15 and 30 alleyways each year to developers and property owners related to the city planning and permitting process. Lower Broadway is an iconic destination for fans of world-class music, sports, and a good time, but as Nashvillians know well, it can also create safety and traffic challenges that my office is working hard to tackle across multiple fronts. Cooper says in release, I commend Garth Brooks for stepping up to help make Lower Broadway safer and more enjoyable for everyone. These additional resources will add new tools to reduce traffic and improve community safety downtown, while continuing to prioritize other initiatives for neighborhoods and families throughout Davidson County. Brooks is seeking to add 2 floors to the existing 3-story building and will go before the Metro Historic Zoning Commission on Thursday to seek approval. I am deeply grateful to Garth and his team for including space that will serve as a mini hub for our operations in the Broadway Entertainment District, Metro Nashville Police Chief John Drake said in the release. This unique partnership will help enhance public safety for downtown residents and visitors. The MNPD, or Metro Nashville Police Department, operates in downtown precincts meetings in a building located at the intersection of Korean Veterans Boulevard and 6th Avenue South. That facilities will remain operational. The new facility will also serve as a traffic control center for the Nashville Department of Transportation and Multimodal Infrastructure. Brooks is the 7-time CMA Entertainer of the Year and the only artist in history to receive 9 Diamond Awards for the now 9 albums certified by the RIAA at more than 10 million sales each. He is the top-selling solo artist in U.S. history, certified by the RIAA in 157 million album sales. So, I was sent this article, and most of you know that Garth Brooks murders people. And so if you go on his Instagram, you'll see many comments saying, "Where are the bodies, Garth? Our families need closure." And if you go on his Instagram, you also see actual families affected by Garth Brooks and what he's done in splitting up so many families and ruining families and causing so much pain in many families' lives. And so with that, Garth has now gotten the Nashville Police Department on his side. So he can continue to murder. He can bury the bodies inside down in a building downtown. You know, I'm not a genius at murdering people and hiding bodies.
What?
But I also know that you shouldn't bury them in a high traffic area. Usually people will bury them in the woods where no one can find them, and they have to have, like, dogs go search. Only, like, dogs are able to find it, unless other people just stumble across that shit. That's the thing. But now Garth is just gonna... Garth has open... It's, like, open season for him. It's like, you know, every other murder he's had to do in his entire life, he's had to, like, get a deer tag for every murder he's done. Now, what Garth is able to do, he can just fucking kill anyone he wants. It's open season for Garth. Garth can do whatever he wants, and he's able to do whatever he needs to do, and it's pretty scary that we live in these times. Also, from someone who's like had to driven Ubers downtown and shit like that, Nashville police down there, like the police that have to work downtown Nashville are the dumbest of the fucking dumb. Like, these are people not worth, like, they're people who are like, Blue Lives Matter, but if you had to go to downtown Nashville, I'm like, yeah, I don't think these Blue Lives matter. Like, I think, and all cops are bad. That's my opinion, because good cops don't exist, because if good cops existed, there wouldn't be bad cops. That's the rule. Cops are only there to help the rich, and like a lot of these business owners downtown, and they're just fucking, and they're all if you've ever had to work with any cops downtown Nashville, like, you know specifically that they're all assholes. So yeah, first of all, they're just gonna fucking cause more traffic problems. And it's like, and this is just Tennessee traffic problems. They just cause traffic problems and don't offer solutions to traffic problems. It's fucking crazy. Anyways, though, so this is just, they're like, yeah, we're gonna make it impossible for, like, Uber drivers to navigate downtown now. And it's horrible, because Uber it's a good business for people, because they can just pick it up and they can do it on the side and stuff like that. And sometimes people need that, and, you know, they go downtown because that's where tourists go and shit like that. And now they're just making it worse for those people, or anyone who has to work downtown. They just made it way worse for everyone. And these cops are fucking dumbasses, so they're gonna be like, we have to do it this way or else. So it's just like, it's fucking nonsense. Anyways, though, that's enough of me rambling. Garth, where are the bodies? What'd you do with my dad? Please give us an alibi of where you were between April 15th, 1958 through April 14th, 2022. Just give us an alibi, so we know you didn't kill my dad. That's all we want to know. From the Washington Post, singer Michelle Branch is arrested, charged with domestic assault. The Washington Post, like I said. Grammy-winning singer-songwriter Michelle Branch was arrested and charged with domestic assault Thursday, Nashville police said. Branch, 39, admitted to slapping her husband, Patrick Carney, 42, in the face 1 to 2 times after police were called to their home for a possible domestic disturbance early Thursday morning, according to Nashville court documents. The arrest came shortly after Branch announced her separation from Carney, her husband of 3 years and drummer for the Black Keys. Branch and Carney have 2 children, Rise James and Willie Jacket. On Thursday, Branch tweeted, then deleted a post accusing Carney of infidelity. Branch's bond was set at $1,000 according to court records. Branch is well known for her early 2000s albums, The Spirit Room and Hotel Paper. She won a Grammy for Best Pop Collaboration with Vocals in 2003 for rock band Santana's song, The Game of Love. She was nominated for 3 other Grammys for Best New Artist in the same year, the rock song Are You Happy Now in 2004, and Leave the Pieces with country artist Jessica Harp in 2007. Representatives for Branch could not immediately be reached for comments. So, yeah, no, this is very obviously, they're like, well, she deleted it or whatever. I don't know. Probably someone, I don't know what's happening there. Very clearly, this fucking Black Keys dude, Carney, it's a Patrick Carney. Clearly, he clearly cheated on her. It was like with, I can't remember who. It was someone who works with the Black Keys, I believe, and stuff like that, which is kind of shitty. Let's be honest with you. It's kind of a shitty thing to do. Was it Parney? Yeah. So her husband of 3. Oh, so they've only been married for 3 years. They have 2. So they've only been married for 3 years. I don't know how old their children are, but I'm guessing the children are very old. So this is definitely a situation where woman got pregnant, has kids, they're raising kids, husband's horny, husband cheats. That's the situation. Which I get. Like, you have small kids, it's hard to have fucking jizz. Men need a jizz. That's one thing. I'm not saying what he did was right. I'm just saying men have to jizz. So, and I'm probably wasn't a good idea to go elsewhere. What do you do in that situation where you have, like, young kids, but you're really backed up and stuff like that? You got a nut. And it's like, and preferably your partner you would have, but she just had a baby, and she's probably not going to give you head either. What do you do? It's that situation. I'm not like men deserve sex or anything, but at the same time, it's like men need to nut. That's a good statement to say. Men, women don't. Men don't shouldn't be. Okay, what am I trying to say? Use your full sentences, Schweg. Men don't. Women don't need to give men sex. But men need to come, so we have to find a middle. Some women get that, though. I don't know if Michelle Branch gets that. I'm not saying. I think she's. I'm not saying domestic violence is a good thing, but I'm saying I get it. I get that, but it's I guess I'm just saying Patrick, he needed to come. I'm not saying he did the right thing. He definitely did the wrong thing. See, well, I don't know. What does it make more sense? Should Michelle Branch have attacked Patrick, or should she have attacked the woman he cheated on her with? Signs would say both, but I don't know. This has not been good. I'm not giving answers to anything right now. It's like a man needs to come. Women, you should just try to help men come. That's one thing. Sometimes you don't want to do it, but like, if you want a man to be really nice to you, drain his balls. That's a good life lesson. However, though, I don't think what Patrick Carney did was right at all. Cheating on his probably new mother of a wife. And also, Michelle probably shouldn't have fought back, but I get what she did. If anything, I sounded like I was saying like what Patrick was doing was like justified. I'm like, no, you shouldn't cheat on your wife. You shouldn't cheat in general. That's just a good rule. Anyways, if anything here, if you just hear that, so if I just say this story out loud, I'm like, hey, so apparently the drummer from the Black Keys cheated on his wife, Michelle Branch, and then Michelle Branch smacked him across the face. You're like, well, I'm not really prone for violence, but it makes sense. I'm like everyone's like, it makes sense. I think the bond at $100,000 probably was okay. That's probably okay. Anyways, though, I think the lesson here, just don't cheat on people. That's bad, okay? Okay, that's bad. Okay, don't do that. All right, from Insider. Insider, barely know her. Brad Pitt says he wore a skirt to the Bullet Train premiere because we're all going to die.
What?
Brad Pitt explained why he chose to wear a skirt to the Berlin premiere of his new movie Bullet Train in July. I don't know. We're all going to die, so let's mess it up. Pitt told Variety's Mark Malkin in an interview at the film's Los Angeles premiere on Monday. where he wore a Kelly green leisure suit, teal long sleeve top, and a mustard and oxblood sneakers. At the earlier premiere in Germany, the Oscar-winning movie star made headlines after pairing a brown skirt with a matching brown blazer and a rumpled mauve button-down shirt. He accessorized that outfit with brown sunglasses, black combat boots, and rows of chains anchored by chunky medallions. Pitt is far from the only male celebrity to move beyond conventional gender norms in fashion. Gender nonconforming fashion has been standard in the LGBTQ community for generations, but it has been going mainstream in recent years and has become more normalized on red carpets and at events. Celebrities like Jared Leto, Kid Cudi, and Harry Styles have all been part of bringing gender-free fashion to the forefront of pop culture. Pitt himself has expressed interest in gender-free fashion in the past. He wore a series of dresses for a 1999 Rolling Stone cover shoot in 2004. Pitt told Vogue that men will be wearing skirts by next summer in an interview about his film Troy. In the movie adapted from the Greek epic poem The Iliad, Pitt played Achilles. He wore a leather skirt. Jeez, that was fun for everyone listening. My prediction and proclamation, the film answers the both genders. We were going for realism, and Greeks wore skirts all the time, he added. More recently, he told Esquire in a 2021 interview that comfort was his first priority when selecting clothing that he found chasing fashion trends exhausting. Pitt portrays a hitman with the code name Ladybug who is surrounded by other hitters while he is trying to pull off a job in Bullet Train. Sandra Bullock, Bad Bunny, Brian Tyree Henry, Zazie Beetz, Joey King, and Aaron Taylor Johnson also star in the action flick from director David Leitch. Bullet Train arrives in theaters on Friday, August 5th. Okay. So I think this is a good example of titles that misled me from what this article is actually about. He's like, well, I don't know, I was going to be wearing dresses soon. And it's weird though, because I don't know, I generally, why wear a dress? I'm like, I'm kind of want to get into more stuff that are like, this is a very, you gotta be really brave to wear this outfit. Sometimes, you have an outfit you have to be a little brave to wear, and hopefully you pull it off. And that's dresses. But I don't know, I like the way I dress right now. And I'm not saying anyone who wants to wear a dress, go out and fucking wear a dress. I don't give a fuck. Just kind of make sure people know what gender. I mean, like, I don't know, because I always think, when you think about non-binary people, if you're gonna think someone's like a they them, I feel like your appearance has to show that. And which most people should agree with me on that. Like will and should agree with me on that. Because obviously, if your pronouns are they them, people are gonna call you man or woman in public all the time. But if you dress a certain way and you present yourself a certain way, people are gonna like, well, you know what? I don't know that person's pronouns, so I'm gonna try to avoid that shit. That's what I would do. That's what I usually try to do. I see someone like, I guarantee I'll get their pronoun wrong. But yeah, so I would say make sure people know your pronouns, kind of understand your pronouns before you wear a dress. That's one thing. Harry Styles he doesn't really wear dresses. He wears like sparkly shit and stuff like that. I don't know if it's flamboyant, but I don't know if it's like, he doesn't really wear skirts all the time. He's not that kind of guy. Bullet Train actually does look a good movie. I should see that sometime. But I don't know. It was Brad Pitt. I just love the train. It's like, we're all gonna die. I'm gonna wear a dress. Fuck it. We're all gonna die. Jeez.
What?
That's just funny shit right there. Brad Pitt seems like a really cool guy. I know everyone's like, Angelina Jolie split. I'm like, I don't know what happened there. They both seem like nice people. It just didn't work out. I mean, it's not like they're all being assholes to their kids. They adopted a lot of kids too, which is really cool. People are like, remember when like Angelina Jolie started adopting kids from like Africa and shit like that, and everyone's like, oh, it's funny because you're just rich celebrity. I'm like, I don't want a black kid. I'm gonna go get a black kid, stuff like that. But it's like at the same time, also these people are probably like Republican Christians who are like, oh, I'm very happy Roe v. Wade got overturned, and then like, oh, you know how adoption costs like $70,000 to do? Yeah. I don't even know why adoption so much. We're like, anyone can have a baby. Anyone can just have their own baby. And that's just do it. Just do it if you want to. But all of a sudden, like, you're like, you know what? We cannot physically have a baby. We would like to adopt a baby. Now, hold on there. Don't think you're guaranteed that shit. That's a special privilege only some people can have. First of all, we're going to need $70,000 from you. What? I do think that's nonsense. So, good for him. Good for Brad Pitt. Good for him. Wear that skirt. Wear that skirt. We're all going to die. Who cares? What would you say? We're all going to die. We're all going to die. Fuck it. I'm going to wear a skirt today. That's a good guy. All right, our last article for today. Texas congressman swears off eating a whole plate of dog penis again. From Tron.
What?
Texas Republican Representative Ronnie Jackson's time as White House physician to Donald Trump took him to several countries overseas where he was able to try a multitude of cultural delicacies. But there's one he's pledged to never eat again. As first reported by Insider, Jackson was asked during an interview this week on conservative podcast Ruthless what he would choose for his last meal on Earth if he could plan it. The congressman answered, "It won't be dog penis. I ate a whole plate of dog penis one time. I'm not going to do that. I'm not doing that again."
What?
Jackson explained that he first tried the dish in South Korea, so he could potentially be referring to gable, the word for phallic-shaped fish eaten in South Korea that translates to penis fish, according to Travel Food Atlas. Because of its pinkish to brown appearance, it made a huge resemblance to the male private part, hence the name penis fish. The site says a joke was once also thought that gable resembles a dog's genitals, so the worm was named after those Korean words. Jackson also added that his last meal would not be a balut, a fertilized duck egg commonly eaten in the Philippines. I ate one of those, Jackson told podcast host Josh Holmes, a Republican consultant and former chief of staff to Senator Mitch McConnell of Kentucky. I'm never doing that again. If he had to plan it, Jackson said he would prefer fried steak with fried okra, mac and cheese, mashed potatoes, followed up by a helping of blackberry cobbler with Bluebell vanilla ice cream. Well, you could tell exactly what you're from by that order, Holmes responded. I gotta tell you, I did not see dog penis coming in this interview. That is another level, my man. Jackson said he could write a whole book about the strange things he's eaten overseas. I traveled to 120 different countries during my time at the White House, he said. Believe me, we were offered some weird stuff. The former White House doctor previously made headlines in 2018 for praising Trump's great genetics. Some people have just great genes, Jackson said at a press conference discussing Trump's first physical. I told the president that if he had a healthier diet over the last 20 years, he might live to be 200 years old. God damn it. Last line here, like, you know, man, if you'd eat healthier, you could probably live to be forever. I don't think that's a good thing to say. Anyways, though, I was like, well, what would be your last meal on this earth if you could have one more meal? Like, it's definitely not going to be dog penis, that's for sure. Most people are going to think that, but no one's going to say that. Most people are probably like, what would you not eat for your last meal on Earth? Dog penis, that's for sure. Also, you know, I'm a picky eater, and people make fun of me, and I just don't fucking care anymore. Because there comes a shit like that. If you travel to other countries, you're going to try their food? I mean, not really. Probably not, you know? I mean, like, maybe tacos. If I go to Mexico, I'll eat tacos, but, like, I don't know what the fuck it is. I don't know. I don't want to eat it. You know, shit like that. I'm a picky eater. I don't even care anymore. People think I'm a picky eater. Like, yeah, I'm a picky eater. I don't want to eat a fucking dog penis. That's for sure. That's out of the question. That's off the table for me not eating dog penis. I've heard of balut before. Balut. I'm like, it's just, you know, you just hear these things and you're like, you know, you can justify with like, yeah, we eat dogs in this country. It's just like dog meat. That's all it is. It's just dog meat. And, you know, you eat it and it's like, okay, this is dog meat. Like, this is cat meat. You eat cat meat. You know, that's one thing. There's another thing being like, yeah, this is a dog penis. Eat it up. I'm like, but what? Why are you serving people? You're like, you know, the dog penis is the best part. Like, what the? That's so fucking weird. Balut is weird, too. It's like, so, yeah, this is a fertilized duck egg. It's not full. Eat that shit. Oh, fuck. Why would you eat that? Like, why? In America, and then people like, you hear like people like overseas are like, why would you eat biscuits and gravy? I'm like, that shit is delicious. What are you talking? What's gross about biscuits and gravy? Like, that's nothing. It's like sausage. It's like a thickened milk type of thing. That's what gravy is. And then biscuits, just, you know, bread. It's basically a type of bread. Like, that's not weird. Like, burgers aren't that weird either. It's just like ground beef, cheese, and whatever other toppings you want on it. It's not weird. Other countries are just a lot weird. China, some Chinese food's pretty good. The ones that they make in America, I don't think they make that shit in other countries. In other countries are like, you want to eat snake? No, I don't want to eat snake. That's fucking weird. Anyways, though, Yeah, don't eat dog penis. That's a good life lesson for everyone. I would suggest you do not eat dog penis. Okay, that's a life lesson. Have you ever been out in public and thought, "Hey, look at that fat guy," only for it to turn out to be a mirror and you are in fact the fat guy? That was the moment that kickstarted me into becoming the greatest health expert the world has ever seen. But I wasn't born being built different. Like Joe Cocker before me, I get by with a little help from my friends. And my friends happen to be today's sponsor, FNX Fitness. FNX Fitness is committed to creating innovative supplements of the highest quality that provide focus for a productive morning, energy to thrive all day, performance supplements to reach new goals, unique sleep and recovery formulas to support any sport, and healthy supplements to support an active lifestyle for years to come. I also really enjoy their clothing line that makes you look good while you work out as well. Another thing I love about FNX Fitness is that with every purchase, they donate a gallon of water to a child in need. Start working out smarter, not harder, by using the link in our description today. You can save 15% on your purchase. Go save 15% on some of the best supplements out there when using the link in our description. And remember, when you use our links, you directly support this show. When you're at the beach, you aren't going there naked, letting everyone see your little shrunken PP from being in the water. No, you're wearing some sort of clothing to cover up your privates. So why would you let companies you buy products from have access to the privates of your credit cards? That's where today's sponsor, Privacy, becomes the clothing for your credit card information. Privacy is the first payment product that keeps your personal information private while being even more convenient than using a physical payment card online. Privacy empowers you to protect your physical card information. Each merchant you share your card information with puts you more at risk to hackers or data breaches. Why not use a privacy card instead? By creating a virtual card with privacy for each merchant you shop with, your physical card is safe and secure. Privacy cards can be paused or closed at any time, preventing any future transactions from being authorized. Privacy cards can also be single use, meaning they close after just one authorized transaction. One of my favorite ways to use privacy is for a service with a free trial that requires you to put in a credit card to sign up. But wait, there's more. By using the link in our description, you can get $5 to spend anywhere. That's money you get to use. So start paying the smart way with privacy. And remember, when you use our links, you directly support this show. So it's time, since it's my birthday, it's my birthday episode. Happy birthday to me. Happy birthday to the ground. It's time to do some Christian cringe. What is Christian cringe, you may be asking me? It's a segment we do on the show where it's similar to scraping the bottom of the barrel, which we are going to do another segment on that. But it's basically I go over articles from relevantmagazine.com, talk about how cringy they are, and I also talk about how wrong they are in what they're talking about Jeebus and all that shit.
What?
And stuff like that. So, let's get into it. I just want to get right into it. First of all, so the name of this article, 5 Reasons to Not Give Up on the Church. Very decisive thing to say. But unlike other articles I do on the show, I like to read information on the author of this. Scott Sauls is a senior pastor of Christ Presbyterian Church in Nashville, Tennessee, and author of several books. He also blogs weekly at scottsauls.com and can be found on social media at Scott Sauls. Okay, so this guy's probably not the worst human being. I know Presbyterians, they're very pro-LGBT. I do not know much else about them. I think Presbyterians are cool from what I remember. You were like, someone was like, you're talking about someone's like, yeah, I go to church. I'm like, oh, what church do you go to? Presbyterian. I'm like, oh, thank God they're not a fucking evangelical or fundamentalist type of shit like that. That's when you meet someone and you're like, this is really fucking scary. Anyways, though, I feel like if I talk to Scott Sauls, we'd probably, we could have probably a very solid conversation about our beliefs and everything like that. So I'm not saying this guy is a complete dumbass. I also haven't read this article yet, so I could be wrong, but this guy, if you're like a minister at a Presbyterian church, then you're probably not super loose in the head. You don't have a lot of screws loose in the. You're a sharper tool in the shed, I will say at least. There's a trend, especially among younger generations, of people who are saying goodbye to the local church. We've heard statistics of, I read the word right, those who leave because they no longer believe, but surprisingly, others leave because they say they want more of God in their lives, and the church just isn't doing it for them. Several influential Christians are among this group, including Donald Miller, author of Blue Like Jazz and other books that speak meaningfully to younger believers. In a blog post, Miller shared candidly that he does not attend church very often because he connected more with God in other ways, like through nature and through his work. And in a follow-up blog post, he added, I'd say half of the most impactful people I know who love Jesus and tear up at the mention of his name would reach out to the poor and lonely and are fundamentally sound in their theology, who create institutions that feed hundreds of thousands, do not attend a traditional church service. Many of them even speak at churches, but they have no home church and don't long for one. Why are so many believers dissatisfied with the church? Often their disenchantment with the church is legitimate. Instead of going to church, they are eager to be the church instead of being a face in the crowd, are eager to be known and need a member of a community instead of being passive observers of an event. They are eager to be active contributors to be shared mission instead of listening to a preacher pontificate and tell stories. They're eager to be welcomed into a story that is bigger than the preacher. Instead of being around people who accept Jesus but who seem bored with him, they want to be around people who come alive at the mention of his name. So, no, very interesting topic. I'm not reading the rest of that little intro part because, yeah, I don't go to church anymore. I would say I probably fall somewhere. Unfortunately, I fall somewhere in this Christian line, but like I just refuse to go to church. I haven't gone to church since 2017, and it's more like I like this idea of Jesus. I like those ideas. I like to follow them. I like to try to live my life by those guidelines. At the same time, I don't want to fucking go to church because, I joke around. Just churches are basically a shitty cover band and a very okay TED Talk about a guy from the Bronze Age most of the time. And a lot of times, and churches have gotten so political now, they're like, you know what? We fucking hate black people. I'm like, what? God doesn't like black people. What? Someone's going to be like, my church has never said that. I'm like, I know, I'm making a fucking joke. Calm the fuck down. Anyways, though, he has 5 points, 5 reasons why we should give him. So, Saul, I don't think we should call him fucking Saul. Scotty. Scotty. Okay, let's go to number 1. The church is Jesus' bride. Well, we should stay with the church. Church is Jesus' bride. I'm like, okay. You're like, it's like those people. I'm married to my job. That's just fucking weird. You dare not decide that you don't need the church. Christ is the church is his bride, and love her makes him faithful to her even when she is not faithful to him. The church was God's idea, God's plan for his kingdom on earth. At St. Cyprian said, one cannot have God as father who does not have the church as his mother. And St. Augustine once said, the church may be a whore, but she is still my mother. The church may be a whore, but she's still my mother. Why have I never heard this quote before? Oh man, that's a good one. I mean, it's a good sentence when you like think about it, to justify going to church and stuff like that. Okay. Yeah. The church is Jesus' bride. As an analogy, I would say it's not a very good one. It's like, the church is like Jesus' wife, like you have a friend and their wife kind of sucks. And all of a sudden you're like, hey, if you like Jesus, you have to like his wife too. I mean, that's a weird thing because I have some friends that I met before their wives, and I usually don't put like my stamp of approval. I mean, like my single friends who meet someone and shit like that, I don't give that stamp of approval very easily. But it's like you meet a friend, they're already married, and you're like, okay, do I like his wife too? And it's like, yeah, I like their wife. Okay, we can be friends. Or if they don't like their wife, it's like, yeah, we can be friends when she's not around. And fuck, like, that's a weird. I don't like that analogy. Number 1 is bad. Okay, Scotty, I don't like that one. Number 1 is bad. The church is Jesus' bride. I'm like, you have to like the church because that's Jesus' wife. I'm like, whew, that's a rough one. Okay. Oh,
that's rough, buddy.
The church is a family. Family is the chief metaphor for the Bible uses when it talks about the church. The church isn't an exclusive monolithic club. It's a gathering wonderfully and sometimes irritatingly diverse, divinely selected brothers, sisters, sons, daughters, mothers, fathers, grandmas, and grandpas. A dysfunctional family at times indeed, but a family nonetheless. Family stays together when one member is weak, the other lifts her up. Where another is difficult, the other confronts him. Where another is leading on a mission, the other joins, supports, prays, and cheers him on. Okay. Okay, it's somewhat of a good analogy, but I'm going to find flaws in it. So, if like the analogy is families stick together. So here's what I'm gonna say, and some people are not gonna. I guess someone might not like it.
First of all, ride or die, bitch.
Family shouldn't be ride or die. That should be people you have sex with. That's fucking stupid. Or friends you've met and are really good friends with. It shouldn't just be an entire group of people. That's just kind of a bad idea. And some families are bad. You meet some people and you're like, I had a shitty father, and you're like, and yeah, I had a shitty mom, and you're like, and then people are like, yeah, I don't talk to my mother anymore because she's an asshole, and I'm like, I see that. That's a good thing. You should probably not talk to your mom anymore. She's probably a narcissist. Just maybe ignore them. Stuff like that. So people don't really have families like this organization where anyone is allowed membership, and this is your family. That's kind of a bad thing. This isn't necessarily a religious thing, but I mean, I've had close friends. I mean, technically can be considered church families, or a type of church family, and stuff like that. And some of them are still some of my best friends for life. So I like it and I don't like it. Saying family is bad. If it's a situation where you can pick your family, because at some point, you just have family, you grew up with them, and you still like them, and they're not shitty people. And it's like, okay, they're family. And there's some people you meet, and you're like, I would never tell someone, hey, this person's a shitty person, and they're really shitty to you. You should stop being their friend, stuff like that. But when you're but they're family, I'm yeah, family doesn't treat people like that. And workplaces are we're a family at this company. Yeah, I don't know any family that treats people like that. That's pretty shitty. I would never treat someone like that. Stuff like that. So, that's my thoughts on the family. The church is a diverse community. By design, God chose the church to be as diverse as possible. At Christ Presbyterian Church in Nashville, we have described our community this way. We are builders and baby boomers, Gen Xers and millennials, conservatives and progressives, educators and athletes, struggling doubters and committed believers, engineers and artists, introverts and extroverts, healers and addicts, CEOs and homemakers, affluent and bankrupt, single and married, happy and hurting, lonely and connected, stressed out and carefree, public and private, schoolers, PhDs, and people with special needs, experts and students, saints and sinners. I like this. I like the way you wrote this. This is a good sentence, and obviously this is your church, and I would say this is definitely what you want to. The conservatives and progressives, conservative. I'm telling you, the way conservatives are, it's the way you phrased all of this. I would say I like the way you think here, and I would say where we could definitely talk. I don't know your church necessarily. I mean, obviously I know where it is. And so people are like, you're just talking shit on this guy's church. I'm like, I actually know where it is. It's off Old Hickory Boulevard. Okay. It's not far off from Old Hickory Boulevard. So don't be stingy there or whatever.
Come on, Mark. Don't be stingy.
So I know it. I don't know the pastor exactly, but if I would have gone to their church, they'd be like, you want to play music here for free? I'm like, and shit like that. So yeah, no, I like the idea of what you want in your church and stuff like that. But yeah, the conservatives and progressives, because conservatives are not aligned with what Jesus wants. They're the party of Jesus, but they also don't align with anything he says. And it's really funny to read what's the Antichrist gonna be like, and you read it and you're like, it sounds like fucking Donald Trump, to be honest with you. But I'm not saying Donald Trump is the Antichrist, but I'm just saying very, very, very similar. Stuff like that. So, you say the church is a diverse community, and you, in your example, was your church, and I'm not saying your church is bad. I know the Presbyterians are cool, from what I'm aware of. and stuff like that. And I've not heard anything bad or about Christ Presbyterian Church in Nashville, which I would have known if there was something bad said about. So I'm not going to say that, but I would say with number 3, I would say your church, or Christ Presbyterian Church, is a diverse community. We're number 3 of 5 here, Scotty, and I would say most of all, this article is like why people should go to your church. Who are like, people who don't like going to church, why they should go to your church, which, I'm fine with. I mean, like, this is like your worldview, and I get it. And we obviously agree on a lot of the same things. So, yeah, but I would say this is your church, but there's a lot of churches out there. If you came in there like, I think women should be in charge of their own bodies. Whether a woman believes that if they get pregnant, they should keep the baby, or if they should get rid of the baby, that's their choice. Because that's my beliefs. And if I said that at some churches, they'd be like, if you don't leave this church right now, we're going to fucking shoot you in the pulpit. So that's what I'm going to say. The church teaches us to love. Part of the Christian experience is learning to love people who are not like us. In the church, we are given a community of complicated, beloved by God, always in process, fearfully and wonderfully made, sometimes faltering and inefficient people who we are called to love, including ourselves. Reconciliation, peacemaking, relational perseverance, and loving the unlovely are difficult but necessary steps of discipleship. Without these things, we remain stunted in our spiritual growth. Our goal in Christian community is not just a tolerance of others, but authentic love and relationship. In order to learn to truly love, we must stay in the Christian community and do the hard work of resolving conflict and building unity. I like this phrase. I like what you say. Unfortunately, with the church teaches us love, and like I said, it's good to not hate people. And it's good to spread love and to be loving to people. However, sometimes you have to deal with some assholes who don't believe in that shit back. And so, in my mind, it's like, you know what? I will learn to love people. However, that person, I want to strangle to death. And that's not loving people. That's strangling people to death is not loving people. So, therefore, I shouldn't do that. And the church teaches love, and you're loving the people at the church, but sometimes assholes go to churches. And it's, and churches don't really have necessarily that way of being like, here's how we're going to get rid of that asshole or shit like that. Like, you can't do that shit at a church. That's kind of awful. And it's more just drama and pain and like just suffering that you have to go through. So I agree with the statement. I don't agree with it that it's going to work IRL or in real life, some would say. And the final one, the church needs you. As it is a family, the church is also a body. Without you, the church is missing an eye or an ear or a hand. Without you, the church is not whole. Each of us is made in the image of God. As we live in community with one another, we grow in knowledge and experience of God by being with others who bear his image. As we learn from and rub off on one another, we become better, more whole, more Christ-like, and ultimately better for the world versions of ourselves. If you are dissatisfied or disillusioned with the local church, don't leave it. If the church stinks to you, then change its diapers. Make it better. Pray for it, bless it, serve it, love it to life. In the process, you will discover that it's not only that the church needs you, you need the church as well. So, here's the thing with the church needs you. I'm a musician. I consider myself a professional musician. I have been playing music since basically my entire life, close to over 2 decades, I would say. And I've been playing in churches for probably almost as long as that. When the church needs you, they need you to do things that they're not going to pay you for, that they're not going to appreciate you for, or they'll say they appreciate you for. But, an idea of appreciation is like, hey, I'm broke right now. I need money. So if you're going to have this, God would want you to play it for us for free and do this for free. We would pay you, but God just loves how you serve us for free. Shit like that. The church needs you to do grunt work for free, even though the pastor's going to make 6 figures in a year or whatever. They're not going to give a shit by that. It's like, oh, I'll serve the church, and then I'm playing an electric drum kit, and the drum kit, I asked the sound guy, hey, I would love some monitoring for my drum kit. Can you please turn it up? And then they say, no, they can't do that. And you're like, okay, change the diaper of that. I'm like, I can't what am I going to do? Punch the fucking sound guy? Be like, hey, fucking turn it up. I can't hear myself. I can't play if I don't hear myself. And so, stuff like that. You can't just do that shit, you know, when you talk about stuff. I'm like going back to like personal shit in my life. I'm like, hey, I would love to hear myself in the monitors, church person who's volunteering and doesn't actually fucking know what they're doing. And they don't do that. And they're like, hey, would you like to serve for free? We want you to lead worship today and shit like that. I'm like, hey, I don't feel comfortable bringing the song. Let's pick a new song out. I just don't think, I don't have the time this week to have to learn the song and lead it for other people to learn. Like, no, we can't do this. The song has to stay. We have to do. I'm like, I'm not going to, like, I can't deal with that shit. I'm like, I'm volunteering for free, meaning that I'm volunteering for free. I have to learn a song, know it so well that I can be the band leader for the band to know the song and try to get it down. Also, why I have another full-time job and other obligations I have to do in regards to this. Like, the church needs you. Yeah, they need you to work for free because they don't want to pay for labor. They don't want to pay people to do an actual job for them. That's what it is. That's the ideal situation of that. Scott, I get you, and I get you. I bet you, I mean, you have a worship leader. You probably pay them well. You have other ministers who you do pay well. And your volunteers, hopefully, they're appreciated, and you're not overworking them and just kind of like burning them out and shit like that. But, you know, and Nashville's different, I know, with me and stuff like that. And, like, they know, like, yeah, you gotta be good to the music people at this church and stuff like that. But most other churches are not good to music people. They're not good to other volunteers. They basically make them work like a whole second job for free and stuff like that. It's just that. That's what it is. So church needs you, which is obviously a true statement, but they need you to do free labor for them. So like the pastor and other members can just get more rich and stuff like that. And obviously I'm not talking about like these small ass churches who are like, yeah, you know, when you know, like people were like, tax the church. I'm like, well, I know a lot of small churches out there who definitely don't need to be taxed, that don't talk politics during church. They just really are just trying to help the community, try to teach the gospel to people. But then we also got these big-ass mega churches. Those need to be paying taxes and shit like that. Because they're definitely just doing it just for the money. That's all they're doing it for. Only for that shit. So, yeah, I think that's all I have to say. Scott Sauls, definitely like a lot of ideas you have, but... someone who's been in the game his entire life, a couple ideas you need to rework in here. And nothing you said made me want to go back to church or do it, even though I have been asked many times to go back to church. And it's not been for the gospel. It's been to do free music for other people. That's what it's been for. So it's time for more cringe from BuzzFeed, of all places. I would cringe inside. Cashiers are sharing purchases that they judge people for buying, and I don't know what to think. So, still my birthday. I can still talk about wherever the fuck I want. So here is a BuzzFeed article about what cashiers. Now, I was a cashier for 3 months, so therefore I'm 100% qualified to be talking about this. Now, I always try not to be shitty as a cashier. I will talk about this. This is a funny story. At a local grocery store, a cashier accidentally undercharged me for something, and you know, I didn't tell her no, but I also don't want her to get in trouble, and I'm worried she did get in trouble, and so every time I see her there, I really do my best to avoid her. Like, so I always try to be good to people and try to be a better person. But anyways, though. Let's see here. From a customer perspective, we often think the cashier who is ringing up our items at a store is secretly judging us based on our purchases. Well, based on a Reddit thread I came across where you Grackle asked, cashiers on Reddit, what items make you silently judge the people who buy them? We finally have some answers that can put your worrying minds to rest. And as someone who did work as a cashier, I will say, most of the time they don't think anything of it. Like, they just don't care. I was surprised when I was a cashier. It was like, the most items I saw bought were diapers and tampons, and I was like, just tampons, and I don't know why. This is a weird thing to say, but I don't know why. I always thought that women were ashamed to know men had periods or something like that. I think I just had one girlfriend who was like, "Oh, I don't want you to know I have a period." And now, if like you talk to a girl, she'll just be like, "I'm on my period, bleeding fucking shit. You won't see it." Like the one time they'll show you the vaginas when they're bleeding to death. I'm like, no, don't want to see that shit. Anyways, though, let's see here what cashiers have to say about that. As someone who used to be a cashier. Free ads for someone. This was about 10 years ago, but the one time I judged someone was also when I lost a little faith in humanity. A guy in his late 20s came through with the line. The belt was filled with junk food, chips, chocolate, popcorn, and candy. The whole time I'm ringing him up, he's saying how glad he is to be out of the house. The baby has the flu or something, and he's at his wit's end. Fair enough, I suppose. I get to the total, tell him, and he's short a few dollars, so what does he put back? The only non-junk food item, children's cold and flu medicine. I still judge that man, and I don't even remember his face. So I feel like a lot of things that are going to be mentioned in this article are going to be the customer is bringing it up to the cashier. Because that's like the only time, because most of the time you just think like, oh, you're buying batteries and NyQuil? Like, who gives a shit? And unless you know, you're like, oh, see what... I bought like a bottle of vodka and like some liquid IV, and like the cashier was like, I see you're preparing for tonight. I'm like, okay, shit like that. Anyways, though, yeah, shitty father. Yeah, that's worth judging someone for. Usually cashiers don't give a shit, but I like it when something has to. This is gonna be stuff that has to stand out for someone to actually say shit. Not in itself, but I always side-eyed parents who will buy my weight in booze and cigarettes, but then scream at their kids to put the bottle of juice back. Jesus, I'm like, don't you need a mixer? You know, you can just use the juice as a mixer and stuff like that. Booze, you're just drinking the booze straight. I can drink the booze straight if I'm drunk enough, but I'm not going to drink it like first drink and shit like that. Jesus. Well, whiskey's different, because whiskey, you can, if a good whiskey, you drink straight, so that's good. The Ethos water at Starbucks, we literally give out free water, and it's way better than the Ethos water, sir. See, I know Dasani's taste like ass, but every other water bottled water tastes the same to me. Like I'll buy like the Dollar General, the Sheet, Hy-Vee, Kroger, Walmart brand. Like it doesn't really matter to me, unless like you're making coffee. Then the specific like whatever, like spring water, I think, because it has the minerals in it that you want. I'm not sure if Starbucks does this. Someone will correct me. I assume with Starbucks it's not sink water. Don't they try to use like a filtered water? If you're gonna make like really good coffee, you usually use some sort of special water. And assuming that's the same water that you get from Starbucks, you're like, can I just get a water? I assume it's probably the same or something like that. So yeah, Starbucks is something like that. The one time I was a cashier was at a place that had a Starbucks built in, and if I wanted water, I just went there. And there was a while, I was like, can you fill me up with water? And then they were like, you can just come back here and fill it up yourself. I'm like, okay. I was like, okay. I was like, I just want to be respectful or whatever. So yeah, Starbucks, yeah, maybe just ask for water from them or something like that. That's probably better than the fucking bottled water they're selling. Not judged as much as hated, but when people bought dozens of those individually wrapped snacks, cheese slices at my store, we had to scan each one of them. I remember there was like a baby food when I worked at the Target. I guess I'll just admit it was a Target I was a cashier at. But they did not sell them in bulk, and I was like, I wonder if like they sell these in bulk or whatever. I remember always just like scanning a million of those. They're like, no, they don't. We have to buy them individual. I'm like, okay. So this could be someone who's just like, maybe they do have it in packed or whatever, and maybe they don't. It just, like the adult diapers, it depends. Maybe that's the case. This regular lady comes in multiple times a day and always gets a small bottle of alcohol, like Southern Comfort or Fireball, and she always tells me, I'm marinating chicken, I don't drink, or other times she tells me, they are for my husband, and later in the day she tells me, I'm so lonely without my husband. I know she might be going through some stuff, but I always think to myself, I honestly don't care, lady, as long as you pay for it. That is true. As much as of some alcohol problems I've had in my life, I just go in and buy it, and you go to a liquor store so much. And look, I have fucking hair like this. Those of you watching can get the better details and that shit, but and stuff like that. I look unique, and it's like if I go to a store enough, they're gonna remember me. It took me like 2 times to go to my new barber for him to remember me. And so, like, they don't care, you know. They're like, yeah, we have super bad alcoholics coming here all the time. Like, you're not a problem to us. If you're civil, you come in, have the money to pay for everything, you're okay. Like, you're not a problem. Like, and so, like, I think this lady making excuses is probably making it worse for herself. No, I'm marinating chicken. You're marinating chicken in fucking Fireball? Like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Southern Comfort, I'm like, I had Southern Comfort a couple months ago, and I was like, oh, I remember Southern Comfort. I thought it was okay. And I'm like, this is not okay. I don't like this shit. I'm not saying it's bad. I don't know if it's bad or not. I'm like, just like, I don't like this shit. I once had a guy in his 50s ask me if it was okay to buy his wife a box of hair dye for Mother's Day. I told him it probably wasn't a good idea, but he said, oh well, and bought it anyway. So yeah, I judged him. Yeah, he should be judged for that. That's 100%. How would you fucking... Most women don't like having gray hairs either. They usually fix that shit just for themselves before they do it for anyone else. Jesus. Literally the only thing that ever stood out to me was people late at night buying 6+ bottles of non-mint mouthwash. Absolutely 100% of the time they were drinking it. I tried drinking mouthwash. I'm not proud of this, okay? I tried drinking mouthwash once and it was like, I can't do it. I'm out. You know, I'm not that bad. I was like, I'm not that big of an alcoholic. I was like, I just drink at night when I'm alone. I'm like, I'm not that bad. So yeah, I'm going back to the lady with the small bottles. Just get a big bottle. I mean, that saves a couple trips. And if you're only going to the same stores, you gotta save a couple trips. Drinking mouthwash, yeah. 6+ bottles of it at once? Jesus, dude. Like, you gotta be really bad. You gotta be your tolerance has to be super high. Like, I'm only at a place where it's like, yeah, I can drink like 16 beers and then I'll feel drunk. Jeez, that's bad. When I was a cashier on the express lane, I would silently judge the people who told me to wait while scanning their items to grab a few more things. A normal line with a giant cart and only missing one thing is relatively okay, but the express lane, judgment. That's just rude. You wasted your time. You had, as Kelly Clarkson said, you had your chance, you blew it. Out of sight, out of mind. Just your mouth, I just can't take it. Again and again and again. Okay. Lottery tickets. I get that gambling addiction is a problem in why, but unlike drinking or other drugs, it seems like so little reward for so much investment. People pissing away in minutes what it would take me all week to earn right in front of my eyes, not even waiting to leave the store to scratch off a whole stack. Again, it's not really judgment. I know these people or their lives, but it makes me feel upset. See, why I can't get into gambling is that anytime I've just like done anything like it's like a Walmart sweepstakes or some bullshit like that or you scratch off, I'm like, I don't get the amount of times you win versus the amount of time you lose. There's more times you lose, and so when you lose, you don't get that serotonin that people. I don't know how people get that serotonin because maybe I'm just a loser. I'm a loser, baby. So somebody kill me and stuff like that. Then the pH balanced water bottle is not even the fact that it's a single bottle of water, but that these one typicals have super thick plastic and even massive caps do have premium feel, which makes me feel like the customer is a bit of a dipshit. Yeah, they're a dipshit. Unless they have electrolytes in it, it's like there's no point in buying this like really expensive water unless it's like for. I know some, like I know like Fuji water that's pretty expensive, but I've seen people in like coffee competitions win using a bottle of Fuji water to brew their cup of coffee. So, I don't know. Yeah, some of that shows like I'm a big believer in just like the Walmart brand or something like that. Even studios I've worked at, like, they've just used that shit. That's not a big deal. It's just not a big deal or anything. Anything of a large amount, I once saw a person buy, like, 15 boxes of Red Bull. The most concerning thing is they look like they were 12. Oh, I was like, I thought it was moving, because it's number 11. I thought they were going to 12. Now, that they look 12, that's one thing. Let's ignore that. But there's a difference between, like, buying it in bulk and, like, going to, like, fucking a gas station every day to get that shit. There's a difference. Be cool. Don't be stingy or whatever, I worked as a cashier in high school. In college, I only remember one combo that a customer brought through my register. It was a Friday afternoon, and an older gentleman brought up a large glass jug of red wine, the biggest tube of KY jelly we carried, and 2 potatoes. I didn't say anything, but I thought to myself, this guy has plans for the weekend. Whew, that's a lot of... Okay, I'm saying red wine, okay. You're drinking, having fun. KY jelly, probably gonna have some sex, hopefully consensual. And then 2 potatoes. I'm gonna guess the potatoes are unrelated to the other 2. That's gonna be my guess here for everyone listening here. I'm gonna say the potatoes are unrelated to that. This is tonight. The other stuff is for this weekend. Lord, how much the biggest tube of KY jelly. Some women are I'm just saying, if women are on like birth control pills, they're sometimes the side effect is like they're just extra dry, because like the whole point of like the birth control pills so you don't get pregnant, and the whole point of how women get turned on and wet is so they get pregnant and have babies. That's a little science right there. So sometimes if a woman's dry and she's you're meeting a very nice woman, you're like, it's my birth control, it's the side effects, we're gonna need some lube. So this guy just may be lucky enough to raw dog a girl who's on birth control pills. And I'm guessing the potatoes are unrelated. Certain as seen on TV. How many are these? Oh, I don't know how many there are. Certain as seen on TV items. Most ASTV items are cheap pieces of junk that don't do as advertised. Yeah, that makes sense. The only time I ever judged someone was when this woman and a kid came up to the register. The woman wanted 4 cartons of smokes, and when her kid begged for a packet of strawberries, who kid asked for, I want some fucking strawberries, Mom. She told no because they couldn't afford it. This was back in the early 2010s, so cartons were around $80, so she spent $320 in cigarettes, but she didn't want to spend $3 on a measly pack of strawberries. Cartons? Oh, she bought 3 cartons. 4 cartons, Jesus. Okay, the math is right. See, I just feel like life is just easier when you don't smoke. And I'm not like judging people who do smoke. I'm just saying life is easier when you don't smoke. And I know it's hard to quit, but it's like, oh, I'm going to inconvenience myself because I really have to smoke right now. That's how people are. Like when people like drink, you're like, I'm going to inconvenience myself because I have to get fucking blitzed right now. Like no one's like that. Just quit smoking. People, just quit smoking. I know it's hard, but you can quit. People have quit. You have that self-control. Learn some fucking discipline. Many years ago, I was a cashier at an evil giant retailer. I'm going to assume Walmart. It was midsummer, and this lady only had 4 items: feminine deodorant spray, Summer Eve's douche, a can of bug spray, and a fly swatcher. I couldn't help but wonder if there was a connection between all of the items. I was really hoping not. Let's just assume there wasn't. But it's really funny to put all this fucking... I'm going to have sex. It's going to be a lot of bugs. Well, I gotta figure that shit out. Hold on. This is going back a while, but I used to cringe inside when people bought those hand wash, body wash brands with all those little microplastic balls for exfoliating purposes. I'm so glad that fad died out. Yeah, apparently that shit is bad for the environment. I remember having shit like that, and I don't think I have that shit anymore. I worked at a grocery store for a couple of years. An older man, probably in his 60s, came in, and he was with a girl who was in her mid-20s and pregnant. I was ringing them up, and he goes, "Hey, babe, do you need some more cigarettes?" He bought her a pack as well as one for him. I really don't judge people, but I judge them. There should be a law that, like, if a woman is obviously pregnant, you can't sell her cigarettes. Fat ladies rejoice because you can get as fat as you want, and people are like, "Is she fat or is she pregnant?" And people are like, "You know what? I'm not getting into it." I work at a pet store. I judge people that get a pet and then buy the cheapest and the most trashy food there is. A pet is a luxury and costs a lot of money, but that's where these people don't consider beforehand. If you get yourself one, you have to take good care of them, and good food is a basic right. Yeah, I agree. Why would you feed dogs? It's funny, we're like, these pet food industries are going under. I'm like, yeah, because people don't want to feed their dogs trash. I used to work at a movie theater. We sold regular bottles of Dasani for $5, and people would actually buy them. I also judge people who brought their kids to rate our movies. Bring your toddler who don't understand is one thing, but it's weird to bring your 7-year-old to Deadpool as if it's a regular superhero movie. Yeah, that was the weirdest time of my life where I got carded for Deadpool because a bunch of kids were trying to get in, and I was like, we're going to need to see your ID. I was by myself. I was in college. I was like, here. I think somehow my college ID and my debit card were like the same thing. I don't know why that was. And like I checked out and shit like that with my college ID. Like, we're going to see your ID as well. Okay. Okay, that was funny. Yeah, I don't know. Don't buy Dasani water at all. And don't take your kids to see R-rated movies. If you can't find a babysitter, you don't get to see a movie. That's your fault for letting someone come inside you. Or coming inside someone else. Like the adult diapers, it depends. I work at McDonald's. I question people that order a coffee with 10 or more sugars. That just seems excessive. Now look. If you have to drink McDonald's coffee, it's not good. McDonald's coffee is not good. It's just like, I need caffeine right now. And I need something stronger than fucking Diet Coke. Get like the iced coffee, like a specialty drink that you know is still regular coffee. I'm going to put a shit ton of sugar in it. That's where you get no judgment. Don't order regular coffee with a ton of sugar. Buy like some weird ass specialty drink. Flushable wipes, I'm sure most people buying them are just ignorant and they actually saw the fatbergs that ended up in the sewer and rivers. They might stop buying them, but I'm still judging you for not reading online before using them. A lot of them that claim to be flushable aren't actually flushable, and even the ones that officially claim to be. Look, I was one of these people once before, and I'm telling you, they are okay. But switching to a bidet makes your just life a whole lot better. I'm telling you, bidet supremacy. I have a friend getting married early November. I'm buying them a bidet for their wedding. That's what I'm doing. I'm telling you, bidets will make your life better. Like, don't you think I'm a happier person? It's because I have a bidet. The double chocolate chip frappuccino for your 4-year-old at 8:32 a.m. You are giving your very small child a chocolate milkshake for breakfast, Karen, just so you can trash your local Target and get 30 seconds of silence, and then leave the cup laying on the shelf, spilling chocolate milk out onto the stack of back towels. Okay. None of this is a problem until she leaves it on the shelf. On a shelf. That's bad. Just do everything but that. Let parents just do their thing in peace. Like, the kid is a monster. I used to work part-time at Lowe's in college. I absolutely judge you by your design decisions. Anecdotally, middle-aged men usually pick the nicest, most agreeable designs. Old women usually pick the gaudiest looking anything. Yeah, my brother works at Lowe's. He'd probably agree with that. I always judge people who bought chunky bars, chocolate with peanuts and raisins with all the other candy we sell. This is what you want. Yeah. And that's the last one. Have you ever worked as a cashier just when you burst? Share your story with me in the comments below. They're trying to get interaction in the comments. All right, so that's what everyone's doing. Most of this is pretty agreeable for the most part. Most of this is just a very common mistake, I have to imagine. But most of this has to be pretty agreeable. Have you ever cracked open a cold one with the boys? The vibes are on, then all of a sudden, you are out of cold ones? Though the vibes are still on, the vibes will soon go off because you are out of cold ones. There's no need to drive when you're under the vibes. That's why today's sponsor, Drizly, is here to make sure that the vibes continue. Drizly gets all your favorite beer, seltzer, wine, whiskey, and much more delivered directly to your home. With their easy-to-use mobile app, we are getting one step closer to never leaving our homes. You know it's saying something when it's being praised as the Amazon for liquor. Drizly is my go-to app for getting all the booze I need so I can do other things. So using our link in the description today, you can save $5 off your first purchase through Drizly. Drizly has proprietary ID verification technology that it provides to its retail partners that allows drivers to scan IDs for more than a barcode to make sure the purchaser is over 21 years old in the US and of legal drinking age in Canada. Retailers on Drizly may have a minimum order or delivery fee. So using our link in the description, get $5 off your first order with Drizly. And remember, when you use our links, you directly support this show. You're not a boomer who still goes to what our ancient civilizations called a store. You buy everything on the internet like a modern individual. What if I could tell you that you could be saving more on your purchases by only making a few clicks on your computer? That's where today's sponsor, Honey, will change your life. Honey is a free browser extension you can download using the link in our description of this episode. Honey searches the entire internet for promo code, coupon codes, free shipping, and anything else that will save you money when buying things online. It's 100% free, and at no point will you have to pay for it with all of those many microtransactions. It's as simple as pressing a single button, and you can start saving money. Not using Honey is basically throwing money away that could be saved for more important things. I recently had to get business cards for myself, and Honey literally saved me 60% on a pack of 500 business cards. It was amazing. Add the Honey extension to your browser today for free by using the link in our description of this episode. And when you use our links, you directly support this show. All right, so it's time for Ask Schweezy, the part of the show where you ask Schweezy. That's part of the show you're doing. It doesn't look like I have a neck when I wear a suit jacket. Anyways, though, or at least I wear when I wear a suit jacket sitting down. I'm doing the show. I'm not gonna be on. I watch some like radio station interviews that they do, and like they're like, I stand at a standing desk. I'm like, I'm not gonna fucking sit at a standing desk. But also, it would probably make me look better doing this show. But then I don't want people like, look at this fucking loser standing desk guy. And when you have like a studio, it's like, unless you have, I have separate speaker stands to my desk, so it's like I have to figure out a way to raise those or whatever. Well, that's possible. Anyways, though, we're talking about fucking asking me questions. Anyways, though, let's just jump into it. Jump into the questions that y'all have for me. Is masturbating to your friends okay? All right.
What?
Is it weird that I fantasize myself have sex with some of my female friends when I masturbate? So, this is a good question. This is a good question that all men have. Look. Let me talk to the women first who are listening to the podcast. If you have friends who are guys and like, you know, these guys are very nice to you, they're respectful of you, and there's not really like a sense that like, hey, we're ever gonna date type of situation, and you know they're like good guys. A lot of times, they're not gonna sexually assault you. That's one thing. However, you know, sometimes you're just jerking off. Men, you know, like I always say, men need to come. That's just a general facet of how men are built. We need to come, and some men need to come a lot more than others. Normal, I feel like most men every 3 days, like just make your man come, ladies. Even if you don't want to, sometimes it's good. And then sometimes men, if your woman wants to come and you don't want to, you gotta make her come, buddy. Everyone needs to come. But I only know how men work, and I'm saying men need to come a lot. And so men just jerk off a lot. And so, for the ladies out there, do your male friends masturbate to you? If I'm not saying yes or no, but I'm saying if they do find you attractive, but also realize they don't want to date you, that's the situation. Find you attractive, and they've probably jerked off to you. That's just a common fact. Like it's like for men. I mean, for men, it's like the idea of just jerking off. It's like it's like a porno sex where it's like she walks in the room and you accidentally have a boner you can't get rid of, and she's like, let me help you out with that, and then she helps you out with that, and then you come. That's the situation. You know, it's simply situations like that. This is like, these are normal people. People sometimes like me, not always, but it's okay. It's okay like that. But for the men out there, ladies, don't cause for concern if you're like, I have a male friend who jerks off to me, but he doesn't want to date me. But he's also not trying to have actual sex with me. I would say don't worry about it. How you found out is a mystery, but don't worry about it. For the fellas out there, men, boys, fellas, boys is gender neutral. So men, guys, fellas, is it weird to jerk off to your lady friends? That's weird. That's a weird way. How do you say it without saying female? Like your women friends? I always say women friends. I think that's the only way to really say it. Is it weird? Only if you tell them. Only if you tell them. If you just keep that shit to yourself, it's okay. But if you tell them, it's fucking weird. It's weird. Don't do it. That'll ruin your friendship immediately. I have friends who are women. I have women who I'm friends with, and I can guarantee that if I messaged them on Instagram right now and said, hey, you know I jerked off to you last night, that will ruin the friendship we have forever. But if you keep that shit to yourself, you can still be friends with them. That's the nice thing about that. Sometimes it's okay to keep some things to yourself. Other things, no. Fetishes, you should keep to yourself. Jerking off to your friends, keep that to yourself. Especially friends that you're not trying to fucking IRL in real life. So, yeah. So, a lot of things you just keep to yourself. But it's not necessarily weird. You think they're attractive, and you'll be like, that'd be fun to have sex with them without the idea of all the baggage that comes along with it. But you're an adult, and you listen to this podcast, and you realize sleeping with them will come with baggage. So you just got to keep it in your head. That's how life works. Are guys disgusted by periods? I definitely understand if you're grossed out by periods. Heck, I'm disgusted by it myself, but I definitely think it should be normalized. It's hard to tell my male friends that I can't swim or do so, and so because of my periods. I just am scared to talk about it because they might get disgusted. It sounds like you are either early 20s or late teens. Because the women I'm friends with will be like, yeah, I'm having the biggest fucking period of my life. I am bleeding so fucking much right now. That's the front. Those are my friends. They'll just tell me that shit, and I'm like, all right, that's cool. I'm almost 30, so I just turned 29. It's like I said, it's the birthday episode, and my friends who are women, I'm like, I don't care if you tell me. And I think I talked about in the previous segment, for those of you who didn't check that out, that if you're a cashier, the things you're checking out the most are diapers and tampons. And I'm like, maybe tampons should be free. Maybe diapers should be free or discounted or cheaper than they actually are. That's a good case. I would be like, yeah, I would definitely go on board for that. So, are men disgusted by periods? I mean, it's the same way men are disgusted by poop. Like, I know some men want to eat poop, and we're not talking about those monsters. We're talking about real people for the moment. It's like the idea, like, periods are gross, but like a woman having a period, it's like whatever. It's like a man poops, and pooping is disgusting, but it's like whatever. It's not. It's that, I don't know how to describe it, but it's saying yes, it is gross, but at the same time, men grow the fuck up because it happens and stuff like that. Women poop, and so grow the fuck. It's like weird shit comes out of our bodies. Like, that's the thing about becoming an adult, is the understanding the idea that weird shit is always coming out of our bodies, and we have to fucking deal with it. We got snot, we got bogies, vomit sometimes come out of our mouth, spit, poop, diarrhea. Those are the same things. Jizz, female ejaculate, squirting for those women who do. But I'm not convinced it's not piss. I'm actually on the side of, like, some guys are like, I want a woman to squirt on me. And some women can, and some women can't. And I'm in the mindset, I'm like, it's all pee. That's my mindset. Weird shit comes out of all of our bodies. And, it's gross, but it's not something that should be a deal breaker to anyone. Periods, by definition, are gross. But at the same time, it's not like something that's going to be like, I don't want to date a girl because they bleed out of their vaginas once a month. It's like, grow the fuck up. Like, and some women are like, do you want to have sex with me on my period? And I'm like, I'm not against it. I'm not going to eat you out, though. That's the thing. And that's okay, You shouldn't have to be obligated to eat a woman out on her period. Some guys do, and that's weird. This is like the line of what's weird and what's not weird. And I'm like trying to explain, like, women having a period, not weird. Men being grossed out by it, that's kind of weird. Shit like that. So just shut the fuck up. Women have periods, and
that's rough, buddy.
It's rough for everyone. Periods are rough for everyone. It's like, you can't eat me out right now. Like, fuck, damn it! I'm fucking hungry. I want to eat some pussy. Shit like that. Whatever. Oh, this is a good question. Should lonely guys who claim to have very low dating standards date a Karen? So if you are one of these guys, do your dating standards include the women commonly called Karens? If you are getting zero female attention, but then one day entitled middle-aged women who throw drinks at baristas become drawn to you, would you date them?
What?
So, yeah, this is a good question, because I'm trying to think, how would I answer this question? Because in my mindset, this is in my mind because I've dated a lot of women, and not to brag, but I am going to brag a little bit. I've dated some really good-looking women, and I'm not with them currently, so things aren't working out. So don't be like, stop bragging. Bragging would be if things were working out with them. So just because someone's good-looking, so it's the chart. It's the chart I have. I guess I'll have to pull up the chart here. For everyone here, and I'll keep it for the rest of this question. But there is kind of a thing where it's someone good-looking versus personality, where someone who's just fucking dumb ugly could have the best personality ever, but someone who's really good-looking could have a really good... never mind. I'm not gonna put that up there. Sorry for people entertained. Anyways, it's though like ugly people could have a really good personality, but good-looking people could have a terrible personality. That's kind of a chart that we have here. But with Karens, the idea of being a Karen is the idea that you do have a bad personality, and the fact that your personality is so bad, and that people like who work in food service, who work at fucking Walmart as a cashier, are your mortal enemy, and that they will be the ones to ruin your lives. So that's your enemy as a Karen. And me as a guy, and you're dating a woman, like, I hate Walmart cashiers. They never want to lower the prices on things, even though there's no reason why they need to lower the price. Like, ugh, okay. Shit like that. And, yeah, there's a reason. If you're a Karen, it's just you developed a bad personality. And there's a lot of guys who are into that, who at least sleep with them, get them pregnant, and spend a lot of money on child support with them. So what I will say, though, is should a lonely guy claim or date a Karen? I mean, they kind of already do, for the most part. Well, they date, but it doesn't really work out, because when you have a really bad personality, you don't really have a sense of how to be a good person in a relationship, and it comes to shitty moms, okay dad type of situation. Should you date a Karen if you have low standards? No, don't date a standard. I would just say just find a hobby and jerk off. Maybe there's a lot of women out there who are not worth your time, fellas. Y'all are good. And also the ladies. Ladies, don't date Karens either. I want to be neutral to everyone here, because Karens are just bad people. Don't date bad people. This is everyone out there. Don't date bad people. That's a fact. How do I get a good haircut? I've always hated my haircut. I've tried different styles to varying effects I feel like I would benefit from. Effort, opinion, but I don't know where to get it. Some barbers have these books with various styles, but the success depends more on hair quality and structure than I'd like, and the barbers are no help beyond pointing that out. I'm in Paris close to a year now with a haircut I don't like, and that's just an insult. How do I respect the West? How do I get a good hairstyle that suits me? So, yeah, I would say I didn't like my hair after I had to stop being emo. I would say most of college until last semester, senior year. I didn't really like the way my hair looked. Now I feel like I've always been doing like a high volume slick back look, and I feel like it's worked out for me, and I've kind of tried to keep up with the modern style. So here's what I would say would best suit you for your hairstyle. So first thing I would say, determine your face shape. I have like a very fat oval face shape. Some people have triangles, some people have ovals, some people have good hair shapes, face shapes. This is our face, like face, head shapes whatsoever. You kind of have to determine that. Then you have to understand your specific hair type. Do you have thin hair? Do you have thick hair? Or do you have somewhere in between? Do you have curly hair? Do you have straight hair? Do you have wavy hair? How does that work? Do you have a lot of hair? Are you kind of losing some hair? Are you losing hair? Yada, yada, yada. You kind of have to determine what type of hair do you have. I have thinner hair, but I have a lot of hair. And it does come out wavy, so I do have to work with it to work with me and what I want my hair to look like and stuff like that. So you kind of have to determine that. Determine your face shape, determine that. Then you have to actually find a good barber. You're in Paris. I'm going to tell you right now, you're in Paris, you're going to have to find a good barber. Just fucking Google. Maybe even like the area you live in Paris, because I can't imagine maybe you are in actual Paris, but maybe you're in like I assume Paris has suburb type things, like New York has other suburbs and shit like that. You have to have suburbs, so maybe look at someone or something close to your area and something like that. That can really help you figure that shit out as well. And then, find a good barber. And then, here's the part that you're gonna probably have to do a little work on. Find someone who has a similar face and head shape to you, and a haircut that you want. So you have to kind of find both of those. And when you have that, show it to your barber and stuff like that. And eventually you're going to get to a point where I always tell my barbers, like, skin fade, which I don't think this is necessarily a skin fade. This is a little bit bare. Up top, and then I leave the back long and trim that up. My top of my hair, basically what I always do is say maybe how much length I want off. So usually 1/2 inch inch, depending on how long it's been between haircuts. And then I always need it thinned out because I have a lot up here, and if I get it thinned out, you can basically get a good volume. So stuff like that. And so show a picture and say some other things that you need to kind of determine, because like I said, I like a lot of volume up here, but my hair is kind of heavy and very thin, and I have a lot of it, so I need it thinned out. And then what you'll have to do is after you get the haircut you want, some of these styles that you look for requires very specific products. I know you're in Paris, so I don't necessarily know what products you actually have at your disposal. Like, what they actually have at the barber is 50-50, because that's what the barber likes, or what, a company that will be like, we'll give you a discount on these products and shit like that. Stuff like that. So I have specific products I like that work for my hair. You should understand products. There's pages like Blumon. They don't post a lot anymore. They just opened a barber shop in Los Angeles, but their past content's really good. Alpha M. I don't like the idea of someone's like, I'm an alpha, but he has some very good hair tutorials, stuff like that. I like those two pages. Those are very good on YouTube that have very good hair products and stuff like that. So, and they'll kind of tell you good products, what you need to use and stuff like that. So that's my advice for you. If you want to optimize your haircut, this is from the fellas out there, the men. That's what I think will probably help you out for the most part. How do I casually ask a girl her age? So I meet someone I find cute and we're getting along nicely, and I'm interested enough that I want to ask her for her number. But she looks like she might be too young. If we met out and about and we have no mutual friends, how can I, in a casual way, bring up her age? Do I just straight up ask? Would that make me look like a creeper? There are 17-year-olds that look 22 and 22-year-olds who look 17. I'm a 22-year-old guy, and I'm definitely not going to be interested if she turns out to actually be 17. Feels like an important thing to know before asking someone out. So there's a lot of things you can do here. I've actually been in this situation many times before, so I'm not judging you. Like, obviously, you're just like wanting to know a girl's age and stuff like that. And, I go to bars and stuff like that, and and this is just a complaint on my end and stuff like that. If you go to a bar and you hook up with a chick and it turns out she's underage, should that be your fault? And, obviously I'm not for sleeping with underage women, but like, you met her at a bar and you didn't necessarily think to ask her age because you were at a bar and you're assuming, oh, you have to be 21 to get in, stuff like that. But, you're like, so you're trying to figure out a woman's age, and I've actually had to do this at bars and stuff like that. You can actually just straight up just ask her age, or kind of fit it into conversation, like, oh, how old are you? And stuff like that. So you can just do that. That's an easy way to do this. You could also bring up, like, when you graduate. I'm like, yeah, I graduated in like 2012. This was 10 years ago. I graduated high school a decade ago, which is so weird to think about. I graduated high school like a decade ago. Like, when did you graduate high school? And then she'll be like, oh, I graduated in 2014 or something like that. Oh, so you're like 23, or you pick an age or whatever, the right age. And she's like, no, I'm actually this age, and stuff like that. So you can kind of trick her into it. That's an easy way to do it. Figure out, like, when did you graduate high school? And then you're like, oh, so that means you're probably yada, 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 and stuff like that. That's a good way to figure that out. Another way, this is the third way. I think this is the only last way you can do. You can be like, oh, do you remember this specific reference from something when you were a child? And you're like, yeah, I remember that, stuff like that. How old were you when that happened? Like, I was 3. Like, oh, so you were like 97, 96, baby, or something like that? And then she'll correct you and tell you the actual age. Those are good ways to do it. Like I said, it's not like fun. This isn't like a cool thing to do. I mean, well, it's good to figure out a good girl's age, make sure you're not sleeping with an underage woman. But also at the same time, like, sometimes you're out at places where a woman should not be under the age of 21, but you still have to, like, figure that out. I'm like, that's kind of annoying. But at the same time, I will say, though, yeah, like, you're 22, you don't want to be fucking underage girls, and so you have to sneak your ways in. I hope that actually helped. I hope that actually helps you figure out what you need to do in that situation, because life be like that sometimes. Do other guys also find their own voice like a girl on recording? I avoid talking when someone is recording because I find my voice sounds like a girl when I hear myself in recordings. Does other guys feel similar, or is it just me and I find really sound feminine? You need to learn how to spell. So here's the thing. So you're probably not like a deep voiced man. That's just a matter of fact. I do recording. I've done recording for now over 10, ever since I started college, even before I started college. And what you notice here, if you actually look at me recording my podcast, is I have my mic and I have headphones in. Why do I need headphones in when it's just a vocal recording? One, it's just to know what I'm actually recording. Two, is to know what I'm actually going to sound like on these recordings. Because I didn't have this recording back to me, I wouldn't know what I was actually sounding like when I was recording this podcast. Which is different because, when you're recording a podcast, you want your voice to actually sound kind of good when you're recording a podcast and stuff like that. And another thing is, you also learn this if you've ever studied audio and how this works, is that when you're just talking to people in public, what you're hearing is your voice, but it's also resonating in your skull and other things and going into your ears. Because basically, if you want to learn how anything audio works, is the way you hear anything is if you hear it out of a speaker, it's vibrating against a wall, it's being reflected against a wall, it's being reflected against everything. I'm being cut off by a green screen, and then it's being reflected back into your ears, and that's how it works. And so, and then in your ears, it's also maybe being reflected by a skull. And so when you talk and you think like, I don't sound bad when I regularly talk to myself, I don't understand that difference, because you're listening to your to your voice being resonated through your skull back into your ears, and that's what you're used to and that's what you're expecting. But when you're listening to a recording, it's not being resonated through your skull, it's being processed and being put out your mouth into a microphone that's converting it to an analog signal to a digital signal. And so that's why your voice sounds weird. Do other people find it weird? Yeah. I do podcasting. I sing. Singing's the hardest because how am I supposed to understand what a good vocal take of my specific voice is versus a bad vocal take? That's very hard, and something I still struggle with. But what you guys are doing, you're just hearing your recording of your own voice through another thing. Like, yeah, it's gonna sound weird because of all these different things. Like, it's vibrating through your skull, the way the room sounds, the way your voice is vibrating off a wall. That's what you're hearing when you're listening to a recording. So that's an audio school guy's perspective on that and why that happens. Finally, our last question of the evening. Can you build charisma? Building charisma. So there's like YouTube channels. So it's like Charisma on Command and stuff like that. So yeah, this is a weird topic I want to talk about because you could say, I don't want to be like, you need to change yourself to make people like you, because when you're thinking about this idea of charisma, that's kind of a topic that comes up, and I never want to be like, hey man, change yourself for other people. Oh fuck, don't fucking do that. Don't change yourself for other people. Other people suck. However, though, there is some things I do want to say that you should probably think about when you think, you're like, women don't like me, and you're like, do you come across as a confident person? And you're like, no. I'm like, women like confident people, and you're like, fake it till you make it, or become a confident person. And they're like, I'm not a confident person. I'm like, like, yeah, I get that. And like, don't change yourself for other people and stuff like that. Don't change that shit for other people. Charisma is kind of similar, because I would never say change yourself to become a charismatic or a person with charisma. I never say that. But if you want to have charisma, kind of just focus. It's more like, that's more like working on yourself. And I do encourage that. I don't encourage changing yourself to make other people happy, but work on charisma that makes you happy. I meet girls and I walk by and I'm like, you know what? Let's smile and nod at a girl and see if she kind of reciprocates those actions. And so, like, I'll go to a store or whatever, and and I see a girl I think is cute, and I'm like, what's up? Or whatever, like a nod and show her interest, and then you try to see her smirk and smile and shit like that. And you're like, yeah, there we go. That's charisma. And you think like that works for you, what doesn't work for you. So if you want to build charisma, I will say this is probably for someone who does actually want to build some charisma. First of all, is confidence. Now, if you don't have confidence, it's called make-believe. And if you don't know how to pretend to do things, take some drama classes or whatever, and then you learn how to act a little bit, at least learn a little bit of acting, and then you'd be like, act like a person who's confident in themselves. Or just pretend that you're confident, you know. Sometimes a lot of times it's just pretending that you're charismatic, pretending that you're confident and shit like that. You know, and people think like, you're pretty cool. And I'm like, I pretend a lot, you know. I have anxieties. I mean, I take meds for my anxiety. I thought I forgot my meds today. And stuff like that. Charisma is just confidence with a little bit of swag, as most people would say. You just gotta own up to a little bit of swag, and you know, be a little cool person. You know, don't change yourself for anyone, but charisma. And I think the last thing I want to say about this is, you know, that person. When you think about charisma, you think about a specific person who has that charisma. Kind of act like them, but try not to be a copycat of them, but copy what parts of them that you kind of like, and make your own version of that and do that shit. Because I do think charisma will go a long way. I know charisma, confidence, and shit like that. Charisma and confidence definitely go hand in hand. So make sure you remember have your own, to fake your own confidence and shit like that. So if you have that, I think you're good to go. Anyways, though, that's how we're ending this episode of Cancel Schweezy. Thank you for listening to the Lord's trademark favorite podcast, my birthday podcast. I can't imagine it's gone any better or any worse than it actually already is. Thank you so much. Check out me on social media at TheSchweezy, my music under Schweezy, twitch.tv/TheSchweezy. Connect your Amazon Prime account. Connect the two. Don't be stingy.
Come on, Mark. Don't be stingy.
And Patreon, our tip jar, Patreon, to say thank you for being a friend. Free shit you can do if you're an audio-only listener or just a regular listener. Make sure you subscribe, leave us a comment, all of that stuff on our YouTube page. Share the highlights with your friends so they know to check out the show too as well. And if you're on audio-only platforms, leave a review in a 5, 4, 3, 2, or 1 star rating.
And I really like that.
So honk if you love butt drugs, and stay awesome. Believe it or not, Schweg isn't at home. Please leave a message at the beep. I must be out or I'd pick up the phone. Where could I be? Believe it or not, I'm not home. You just finished a full episode of Cancel Schweezy. You are now one of the smartest individuals who will ever exist in our world. If you like that episode, make sure you subscribe. Whether you're watching this show or listening to the show, make sure you subscribe. That way you get notified whenever we release full new episodes as well. And if you're on YouTube, smash that bell button. That way you get notified anytime we make a post over here on YouTube. Honk if you love butt drugs, and yeah, stay awesome.